My work focuses mainly on the U.S. relationship with the world, particularly Latin America. I'm an expert in U.S. interventions, but I'm mainly interested in looking at the impact of intervention. So I look at U.S. interventions not necessarily from the U.S. point of view, but more on how U.S. intervention affects a non-U.S. society. The response to a U.S. intervention in a non-U.S. society is usually very messy. It's not black and white. And what I really am interested both in my teaching and the research is to get at that grayness, at that messiness. One thing that I really try to get students to understand is the importance of unintended consequences. And I think that's one thing that the students learn the most from my classes is that the U.S. might have these goals and try when they intervene in the country, and usually, often the outcome is very different. I think one thing that students like is, for example, when I teach a course on U.S.-Latin American relations, I talk about the drug wars. I've spent time in Bolivia. I can talk firsthand about the impact of the war on drugs in Bolivia. The way I teach, and even if it's a lecture class, it's very interactive. I don't like to listen to myself the whole time. I actually like to hear what students say, and I'm amazed that no matter how many times I teach a class, I actually learn from my students. I think our faculty are highly invested in their graduate students. That's one reason why we became teachers. We meet often on a weekly basis and talk about books that they've read. They write papers, and I comment on them. Actually, the mentoring often continues even after students have gotten their PhD. We continue to write letters of recommendation. We help them turn the dissertation into a book. So we give tips about publishing. We often also help them develop new courses. We have grants where we encourage students to go out into the field and discover what kind of archives are out there, collect materials that they can then use for their MA essay, which they should complete by the end of the second year. Colleges and universities search for historians who specialize in a region. So we want to make sure that our students are well equipped to compete for those kind of jobs. We also strongly encourage our students to develop trans-regional expertise. That is the ability to think beyond the region, either by comparing, let's say, one region like Latin America and the US, or by developing expertise in a topic such as migration that has a trans-regional, if not global, dimension. I guess I've always wanted to be a teacher. I'm from Switzerland. What I really like about teaching here in the US is the way in which I'm able to combine research and teaching. Like here I can teach more specialized classes, which allows me to draw on my research and also my experience in the field. The international bent of it at the history department is very strong. In fact, I'm a Latin Americanist, and there are very few graduate history programs in the nation where Latin America plays such a dominant role. The international studies plays a very important role here, and that's one of the reasons why I decided to move to Pittsburgh. It's because of the emphasis it places on international studies. I think students here, they really get the one-on-one experience. Some students need a little bit more guidance and others don't. But I think being in a smaller program, we are able to gear our mentorship much more towards the individual student.